Hey everyone, it's Jonette, your favorite 4-H agent, and I'm here to do a little lesson on invertebrates. So invertebrates, as you know, means no backbone. So that means creatures that live in the water and on land that don't have a backbone are called invertebrates. So think about jellyfish. Do jellyfish have a backbone? No. What about a squid? Does a squid have a backbone? Absolutely not. Instead, their bodies are soft, jelly-like. But what about a crab or a lobster? What about an oyster, a clam? They don't have a backbone. They have a shell or an exoskeleton that protects the soft interior of their bodies. That means they are also an invertebrate. But what about creatures that live on land? How about your dog or your cat? They have a backbone, so they are not an invertebrate. They are vertebrates. They have a backbone. But what about a butterfly? A butterfly is an invertebrate. Another thing special about invertebrates, some of them actually change from one form to another, going through a process called metamorphosis. What about a bumblebee? An invertebrate. A worm? You got it, it's an invertebrate. And how about a beetle? How about your favorite dung beetle? Yes, that also is an invertebrate. So there are many different examples of invertebrates. You can find many invertebrates on land by digging around in the soil. They are very important decomposers. They enrich the soil and they also are food for other animals like your chickens. Ever seen them scratching around in the yard? What do you think they're looking for? They're looking for worms and beetles. That's right. So what can we find out in our yard? That's what we're going to do next. You all know I like to get messy. You know how I like to do hands-on things, and digging around outside, finding bugs and little critters that are going to creep us all out is super fun. So let's go ahead and get the supplies we need so that we can get started with that. So the first thing you're going to need is something to dig around in the soil with. So we have a handy dandy hand trowel here. Now I realize you all will probably be at home doing this, so let me give you some advice. Do not get a fork or spoon out of the kitchen to go outside and dig around in the yard with. Your parents will be very upset with you, okay? So grab a shovel, grab a hand trowel, grab your beach stuff that you use to dig around at the beach with, and go outside and dig up some stuff. Look under a rock, look around the tree roots, look in various places all around your yard. So after you do that and you got your digging spots together, you're going to need a container to put your critters in. Now I have a really fun critter in here. It's still alive. I found it yesterday while I was digging through the front to plant some flowers and some vegetables. I will show him to you a little bit later. You need to get your parents' permission before you go getting their ball mason jars, okay? They still may use these for canning, and I'm sure they would not like to find a creepy crawly inside of here, okay? All right, you guys might have gone somewhere and gotten some, I don't know, barbecue sauce, ketchup, mustard, something in one of these little containers. These are perfect for containing all the fun things that you're gonna go dig up in the yard. They have a nice lid that snaps tight so your little critters won't get away. Yeah, you might have a potato chip can as well. The good thing, it's got a nice lid that snaps on and it's big enough where you can put a lot of things in there. Snap-on lid. And you might have some of these jars that have been emptied. Don't throw these things away. These make really good creepy critter containers. So you can peel off the label, just soak it in water, but it's got a nice screw-on lid. It's clear, it's see-through, so you can actually see what's in there. And at the end of all of our digging and experimenting and getting all the creepy crawlies, if you want to keep them for a little while, just punch some holes in the top so they can get air, and you have your own little bug farm that you can share with your friends. In addition, if you have some of these silicone forms here, which you can use for ice cubes or making popsicles. And if you have some sticks that your mom doesn't mind having a few little buggy friends on, then we can become real scientists and preserve some of these bugs in some popsicles and some ice cubes. So that way, if you're really funny about touching these little creepy crawlies because it kind of weirds you out, you can still observe them and have some fun watching them thaw out. and have a little archaeological dig and unearth a little prehistoric insect from your yard that you have found. Get your supplies and then let's go digging.
My chickens used to live here, so let's see how many worms we can find in the soil where their coop used to be. I think I found some worms. All done. Let's go inside and take a look at what we found.
And we're back. I hope you had a great time outside, digging around, looking for your insects and invertebrates. I've taken my samples and I've gotten a plate so that we can see everything that we put on there for sample number 1, and sample number 2, and sample number 3. Let's take a look. Sample number 1. Now, what makes this activity fun is that you can use multiple tools in order to cipher through your soil. You can use a popsicle stick or a tongue compressor. You can use a pencil. You can use a toothpick. You can even use a plastic knife. You can use a spoon, whatever you have on hand to sort through your soil. So let's start digging around in here and see if we see anything moving. Now, this was our first soil sample that we took, and so this came from my flower beds. So there's a lot of mulch, and mulch is mostly plant material. We have a lot of plant matter in here. Like, for example, look at that root. So do you see that? I don't see any large bug pieces or anything like that in here. Oh. So let's separate that out. And it's moving too. That's even more fun. Remember, take your time looking through your sample so you don't miss anything. Now, I know I found worms in sample number 2. Oh, I see something moving around already. Do you see it? It's crawling. There it is. I found a worm. This is great. And there's another one right there. Let's see if they'll say hi to each other. Let's keep digging around. I found something else. Looks like it may be alive. Kind of looks like a little baby worm. This was the soil that came from the chicken coop area where my chickens used to live when I had chickens. With so much poop and organic material in the soil, I knew that I would be able to find worms. Worms are great decomposers. But let's see what else is in our can. Okay, I don't see anything immediately sticking out of there. But our worms might be hiding. Look, there's another worm. There's another worm. Look at that. Another wiggly.
Did you know that earthworms are actually classified as animals, but their bodies are specially designed for living underground? Their body is divided into segments, and each segment has a number of setae, which are very small bristles. Earthworms use those to grip the soil as they move. And they move because they have two different sets of muscles. They have circular muscles that loop around each one of their segments, and they have longitudinal muscles that run along the length of the body. So when the circular muscles contract, the earthworm stretches and becomes longer and thinner. The longitudinal muscles contract, and the earthworm becomes shorter and wider, or it bends from one side to the other while it's pulling its body forward.
Let's take a look now at sample number 3. Let's see if we've got anything good. Now sample number 3, remember, came from the base of the tree. So we're going to dump our specimen in there. And let's break up some of the larger clots here. Thought that was a worm, but that's just more plant matter. That's a stick. This is a root. And you see that root is clinging to the soil? Plant roots cling to the soil. That's why they are great at preventing erosion and why farmers plant cover crops in the winter to keep the soil from eroding. I've got an ant. See if we can separate him out so that you can see him. You see our ant friend? He's moving around right there. Come here, little ant friend. Look, he's running. Ooh, he's running away. There's another ant. I don't think I'll be able to give you close-ups on our ant friends. They blend in really, really well here. There they are. Now they're running a race. Look at them. Woohoo, get back over there. No, go. So I got our little ant friends here. They're trying to find their way back into the soil. Ants are great at tunneling through the soil and keeping the soil aerated for plant roots. They have a hard exterior, so it's almost like an ant has armor. There he is, he's still running. Now that we have searched through all of our soil samples and we found 3 different kinds of invertebrates in our 3 soil samples. We found our earthworms. We have what looks like a little aphid or a larva stage of what possibly could be a beetle or ladybug. And we found ants. Now I'm going to take them and put them back outside. I will meet you right back here for something extra special.
Playing with our buggy friends is always fun, but they belong outside. This is their natural habitat. Besides, they're going to grow up one day. They're going to be food for birds. Just earlier today, I had wild turkeys in my yard, scratching through the leaves, looking for their dinner. So remember, after you finish playing with your buggy friends, put them back in the soil, outside where they belong, so that they can bring us joy again next year and continue to feed our ecosystem and play a very important part in the food web. But I found something else special while I was digging around, so I'm going to come inside and show that to you now.
Meet the almond millipede.
But you see all his many legs? And he has an armored exoskeleton. That is his protection. Now, what makes this millipede dangerous is that this little millipede smells like almonds. That almonds that he smells is a defense mechanism. It is a type of poison, hydrogen cyanide, that he releases, which will become an irritant to your skin if it gets on you. So if you find one of these, do not pick it up. Do not play with this one unless you're wearing gloves or you have him on a plate, as I did, which this is what was in my ball mason jar earlier that I collected just so I could use to show you all because it's so pretty. He's going backwards. Still feeling around, trying to get his bearings straight.
And you see how the millipede is using his antenna to tap the plate everywhere he goes as he's moving around?
His face.
That's because his head has a pair of sensory organs that are just behind his antenna. They're oval shaped, and that's how he finds his way around, by sensing through his antenna.
There's another little invertebrate that you all might find painfully horrible. This is a wasp. This is actually a type of paper wasp. It's a red paper wasp that my son and I caught here at our house. You can see his stinger in there. Oh yeah, that's his stinger back there. Putting him in the test tube allows us to look at it pretty closely so you can see all the segmented parts of his body, and it can get a really good look at it without having to be worried that it's going to sting you. Thank you so much for joining me today as we discovered the great outdoors, looking for invertebrates, looking through soil. If you want to do more fun things on your own, please do. Now is a great time to go out because it's spring and the world is coming alive. Things are waking up, so see what you can go out and find. And if you have some little ones smaller than you, then how about doing some fun craftsy things? Now you can take those things that you find, your beetles, and you can put them in ice trays and freeze them in little cubes. And as the cubes thaw out, you can examine them a little more closely as well as play with them. They make good pranks too, but don't tell your parents I told you. Okay, remember you can make popsicle sticks with your little buggy friends. If you want something safe at night, something to just remind you of your work through the day, then why not make your own bug like I made here. There's my little buggy friend. So this is a lightning bug. So all you have to do is get some construction paper, cut out these little half circle shapes. You can layer your colors the way I layered mine here. Get yourself some pipe cleaners, wrap around a plastic bottle, twist them to make their legs so this will actually stand up on its own, and then draw a face on the lid. Now, if you really want to make this special and you want to make your little bug glow, all you have to do here, we're going to unwrap his face. Okay, so you can do this before you put your little buggy friend in. You know what this is? That's right, it's a glow stick. Get yourself a glow stick. Snap it. Shake it. Oh, it's really glowing now, just like a lightning bug. And then all you do, drop it in your bottle, take your tape, put your buggy face back on. There we go, sealed with love. And you have your own little glow bug, a lightning bug. Isn't that awesome? Thank you so much for hanging out today. Thank you for going outside, digging around in the dirt, soil if you like that word better. And thank you for playing with your invertebrates. Hope you learned lots, hope you had some fun, got some really cool ideas. This is your favorite 4-H agent, Jonette, saying, have a wonderful, wonderful night. Bye-bye. I'm gonna watch it glow.